Welcome along to Matchday Live here on LCFC TV as Leicester City kick off their FA Cup campaign this season. Of course, it was only, a year and a half ago since they were at Wembley, of course, famously lifting this trophy. Will it be the same again in May? Well, they've got to get past Gillingham in the third round, and our commentator today is James Fielden, and he's got all the team news of Leicester City's first FA Cup 11 of the season.
Dan, hi everyone. It's a freezing cold day here in Kent. The wind is swirling around us as well. Hopefully those Leicester fans in the golf stand, as it can be described, away to our right hand side, keep themselves covered because it could be a chilly old afternoon. In terms of the team they're going to be watching today, 8 changes from the Fulham game. Jose Perez, Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy, and Vardy keep their places. Lewis Brun gets another chance in the FA Cup as he starts. Casey McAteer makes his full debut. Yannick Vestergaard makes his second start of the season. Alongside him, Shalas Soyuncu makes his first start since the end of October. Vardy partners Iheanacho up front, who makes his first start from the off since the 4th of September. This is how we think they're going to line up. It's Everson in goal today in place of Danny Ward, who hasn't travelled. Or Brighton at right wing back. Soyuncu, Vestergaard and Brunt across the back with McAteer at left wing back. Mendy and Tielemans in front, and in that formation that Brendan Rodgers used many times in the past. 2 up top of Vardy and Iheanacho, with Jose Perez just in behind. The bench today is Wout Fast, Harvey Barnes, Daniel Amati, Patson Daka, Wilfred Ndidi, Timothy Castagna, Luke Thomas, Sammy Braybrook and Alex Smithies, who is the sub-goalkeeper. Gillingham having a torrid season at the moment, struggling right at the bottom of the EFL. They're in bottom place in League 2 at the moment. They've only scored 7 league goals this season. They don't have many bodies to their name, they've got many injuries. They've made 3 changes to the side that lost at Stevenage on Monday. Alco goalkeeper Glenn Morris, whose loan has ended. Jake Turner comes in. Che Alexander in for Stuart O'Keefe. And Hakeem Adelakan in for Mikel Mandron, their central striker. I think they're changing shape today. They normally play a 4-4-2, but they're going a 3 at the back. Turner in goal. Mackenzie right and Ema the back 3. Alexander the right wing back. Tutonda on the left. Williams and Jeffries in the middle, and then Adelakan and McDonald either side, and Scott Casquet, who starts up front. Very diminutive striker. It'll be interesting to see how they use him in this one today. But for Leicester, 8 changes from that Fulham game on Tuesday. Starts for youngsters Brunt and McAteer.
Well, thank you very much, James. Yes, apparently a bit of a torrid day down in Kent today, so we're happy to be in the studio today. We've got Matty Fry and myself, Dan Bates. Jerry Taggart will be with us very shortly, but we'll start with just the two of us. Firstly, good morning, Happy New Year. It's been a while since you've been with us.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? We have obviously the World Cup, the break, and then back and everything, and Happy New Year, and it's an early one this morning, but
thank you.
Yeah, nice to be in the studio rather than out in the wet and cold.
Exactly, which I think you've been to see Gillingham already once this season, haven't you, away at Wolves, probably in the wet and cold. They lost that game, but they actually played well. This won't be an easy test today for Leicester.
It won't be an easy test, and I think with the obviously national coverage of it, the gap between the two sides, I think it's the biggest gap today in terms of Leicester v Gillingham at the bottom of obviously League 2, so people are hoping, other than Leicester, for an upset, so it won't be an easy tie. Against Wolves in particular, they was very defensive, and it looks again back 5, so making it difficult for Leicester, but it's good to see Leicester playing 2 up top, Perez in behind and causing real problems, get down the sides of them and ask them questions. And you've seen already in the Carabao Cup that Leicester, when they're playing lower opposition, they've really done the job well professionally and got everything that's needed out of the game. And again today with the lineup, you're seeing a few younger players come into the team and freshen things up as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Leicester team news in just a moment. Let's take a quick look at, though, what we're going to be talking about in the next hour or so as we build up to kick-off, which is, of course, at 12:30 this afternoon down at Priestfield Stadium. We're going to look back on that Fulham game in midweek, of course, at King Power Stadium. A disappointing and frustrating start to 2023 for the Foxes. We'll hear from Jose Perez as well. He's in that number 10 role today. We'll hear what he has to say before this Gillingham game. And we'll take a look back at some classic FA Cup goals scored by the Foxes. No prizes for guessing that one will feature in the video there. Well, I can see Jerry. I don't know if Jerry can hear us. Jerry, are you there? Yeah. Good afternoon, good morning rather. How are you? It's great to have you with us. What are you expecting today?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Happy New Year, Matt. Yeah, I'm expecting a difficult tie for Leicester. Probably not in terms of priorities. This game's probably come at the wrong stage of the season. We all know it's going to come at some stage, but with the way Leicester go into this game, with the injuries mounting up, it's not ideal for Brendan Rodgers in terms of priorities. You can see that with some of the changes he's made. But as Matthew's already mentioned, he's gone strong up top, which is good. And there's a blend, there isn't there, of youth and experience. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult time no matter what. It's not going to be the prettiest of surroundings down there at the Priestfield Stadium. So it's one of those games where you got to roll your sleeves up. You've got to dig deep, and you've just got to get on with it. And hopefully by the end of the 90 minutes, you find yourself in the hat for the next round. But it's going to be a tough tie, that's for sure. They've already put out Premier League opposition this season, haven't they? Gillingham in the League Cup, I think it was Brentford. So no easy tie.
Yeah, Leicester did dig deep in midweek, of course, here at King Power Stadium against Fulham. They weren't able to break the deadlock, though. They had plenty of chances, didn't they? Let's take a look back at the best bits and the worst bits from that game here at King Power Stadium on Tuesday.
For the first time in 2023, Leicester City take to the field here at King Power Stadium in the Premier League. Fulham are the opposition as City look towards the new year with both cup competitions up for grabs. Willian coming over the halfway line, inside left position. He's got Robinson out to left, but he's flicked one into Mitrovic, controls with his chest and scores inside the 6-yard area. Injured early in the game, he's made a full recovery here to score his 11th goal of the season. Brighton down to Tielemans, Vardy to aim for as Tielemans checks back and on his right foot whips a ball in. Jose Perez has volleyed it over the bar from 4 yards out. Great skill by Tielemans, great run by Jose Perez, unmarked on this near side. It's to Luke Thomas. Thomas, early ball for Harvey Barnes, and Barnes stopped by Leno. Stood firm, stood high as Barnes tried to lob the ball over the German goalkeeper, but Leno didn't go to ground and he was able to push the ball away to safety. Tielemans, lovely layoff, and a lovely layoff again to Vardy, who's in behind right at the penalty area, saved by the legs of Leno. Wonderful play by Leicester that nearly got them in on goal. Vardy making the run. Low again, cleared as far as Tielemans, chests it down, shoots, oh, it's come back off the bar. I thought it was Goodison Park all over again for Yuri Tielemans. Full-time whistle goes, Fulham win it. The first half goal from Alexander Mitrovic is all that separates the sides. 3 wins on the bounce for Fulham, 3 straight defeats for Leicester as we start the new year.
Yeah, not an ideal start to the new year for the Foxes. Jerry, you were here, of course, for that on co-commentary. It makes sense to ask you first. What did you make of Tuesday evening?
Well, you just seen the highlights, sir, Dan. 3 gilt-edged opportunities that on any other given day, you're expecting at least 2 of them to go in the back of the net. Second half, Leicester obviously absolutely battered Fulham. I think that breakaway, that counter-attack late on in the second half, which they put wide. And other than that, I can't remember another save that Danny Ward had to make in the second half. So, but when you have chances that good,
as this one, yeah,
you don't take them, then you've only yourself to blame. It's as simple as that. Some really good chances. As I say, probably when you analyse the chances themselves and the technique involved, and Matty Fred, there's probably someone who's got more, has got more experience and better, qualified than I am. But these are top end chances, and you've got to be clinical there.
The frustrating thing, Matty, especially watching back some of those chances, and there are even more than that Leicester did squander on the evening, that they could have won that game 3-1, 4-1. If they'd have equalised just after half-time, I think the Jamie Vardy chance was maybe around the 60-minute mark, 55, 60. You score there, that you probably do go on and get a second, a third.
It's fine margins, but again, in the Premiership, you can be punished, can't you? Mitrovic, one chance, scores. Leicester had multiple opportunities and didn't really capitalise on them. Really good opportunities, in fact. And to be fair, the keeper's done well, stood up, made it difficult. But Leicester have had more than enough to go on and win the game. And you look at, obviously, that one's just gone wide. The Tillemans one against the bar as well. A few one-on-one opportunities, but all in all, you look at it could have been, like, say, 3 or 4 the other end, and you come away with not a goal at home, another defeat, unfortunately, and it's disappointing, especially, I think, the manner in which the first goal was conceded. Fulham get one chance to score, and Leicester were just unable. But you can see the effort; they were doing all the right things. It just wasn't. It was one of those days where the chances didn't go in. Normally they do. They didn't that day, and obviously Fulham go away with the 3 points.
That's Matty there, Jerry, talking obviously from an attacker's point of view. From a defensive point of view, the goal then from Alexander Mitrovic. Yeah, I can see you shaking your head already. What did you make of that? What could have been done better?
Again, for me, a lack of communication between Luke Thomas and Wout Faes here. You know, if you just watch where Mitrovic is, Luke Thomas stops, doesn't track his runner, but he also doesn't tell Faes that Mitrovic is pulled off behind him. If you're communicating there between the pair of you, I think for me, Luke Thomas needs to get back a little bit quicker as well. He's jogging back from what he should be sprinting. He should be maybe covering Wout Faes and then passing on the other attacker who's run off Luke Thomas into that central position. I can't see who that was that made the run off him, but between the pair of them, for me, there just seemed a lack of communication. Luke Thomas is jogging back when he should be sprinting back, and Wout Faes has no idea whatsoever where Mitrovic is on the pitch, which is worrying, to say the least. So, and you've seen how easy the finish was for him. You know, he had time to chest it down, let the ball bounce up, and then come back down onto his left foot, and it's a simple side foot finish into the corner. Danny Ward has no chance because he's been given too much time and too much space to control it and put it away. That shouldn't happen inside the box. And we spoke before the game about the quality that they had in the wide areas, you know, and you've seen Willian who's come in, you know, almost, I'm not saying he was a forgotten man of English football, but everyone was going to go, what, William coming into Fulham, what's he going to bring in? You see the quality that he possesses. And we talked about that Mitrovic will need that supply from the wide areas if he's going to get on the score sheet. Because he's not going to run away, but he's not going to dribble around 5-6 players and boom it in the top corner. He relies on service. So the players would have been aware of that before kick-off. And that one instance literally undone all that good work was seen in the second half, or the first half and all the second half. One slip yet again. For me, it just sort of boiled down to lack of communication, lack of cohesion.
And overall, obviously, that's frustrating because the full-time result was a Leicester defeat. But the amount of chances that they created in the second half, okay, they didn't take any of them, but they created them. They can take confidence from that. They can take confidence from their performance at Anfield as well a couple of days before. Yeah,
again, it's the same. I think Jerry hit the nail on the head in terms of the defensive display. There's that one moment where obviously they're going to get the deliveries out wide into the box. You've got to defend that better between Faes and obviously Luke Thomas recovering in. Wasn't dealt with. They take their opportunity. Leicester had numerous opportunities. So you're creating the opportunities. Can you finish it? On the night, Leicester were unable to do that, but there was loads of chances. Again, performance at Liverpool wasn't a bad performance, but a little bit of defensive frailty. We saw it earlier in the season, thought we'd adjusted to that, got numerous clean sheets, and then all of a sudden, defensively, look a little bit frail, a bit vulnerable. Mitrovic scores with the one chance. Leicester were unable to score that night, and then you look at the end of the game, it's a defeat, 3 defeats, going into a cup tie today where you think could be a scalp. You don't want it to be that way, but at the same time, got to get sort of back onto things. Can you score them chances and keep it solid at the back?
One of the players, obviously, that missed a couple of the chances was Jose Perez on Tuesday evening. I sat down with him after the game to preview this one with Gillingham. He spoke about those missed chances and putting that game behind the Foxes. Before we get into that FA Cup game with Gillingham, Jose, let's talk about the frustration, obviously, of that first game of 2023 at King Power Stadium against Fulham. I'm sure as a group you really felt the disappointment that evening.
Yeah, it was a frustrating night for everyone. I think we started slow again, which is something we need to look at. We gotta work on that because it can make a big difference in games when you concede early and you're not concentrating doing the basics. So I think that made the difference in the game. Then we created a lot of chances. We didn't take them. That's also very, very important. I had a couple of chances I couldn't score, so yeah, that also makes a difference against teams that they know what they want to do. They score early, then they knew they were going to be able to manage the game as they did. So yeah, we missed so many chances. Second half was much better from us, but still not good enough overall. We can do much better than that, but at the same time there were some positive bits of football that we can build on. If we would have scored a couple of chances, we might be talking about something different, you know. But in terms of performance overall, it can be much better.
A couple of cup games coming up next, starting with Gillingham in the FA Cup on Saturday. What are you expecting there, and what are you expecting from Gillingham?
Well, it's going to be a massive game for them. You know, always a big game, playing against a Premier League team when you are in lower divisions. So they are going to be at it. It's a good test for us going away from home, and a great game for us to build confidence as well. Go there and get the win will help us in many ways. So hopefully we can start building up from there.
Sometimes it's nice, I imagine, to have a break from the distraction of the Premier League as well. You go into the FA Cup, it's a different competition, then it's the Carabao Cup again, another different competition, just to try and build a little bit of form up.
Yeah, I think when you're in a negative run, the good thing is when you got many games in a row, you can straight away turn things around. So after Tuesday, we got another game on Saturday that comes really quick, and it's a great chance for us to get to the next round, to get that winning feeling back again, and keep going from there.
You mentioned that cup run, obviously. You know what it takes to go all the way to win this trophy. That was a very special day for you, for this football club. So a chance to repeat that will be fantastic again this season.
Yeah, and you gotta start from the first round. It's something that you need to earn since the first game. So you need to take serious every single game, be as professional for every single game, and we'll take you to the big place. So that's what we gotta do. We gotta go there, do our job, get the win, and into the next run. Will help us also in terms of confidence, and it's a competition that we know we can do well, and it's a great chance for us to go as far as possible.
Before we talk, Jerry, about what Jose Perez had to say there about the FA Cup and going far, let's just quickly address, obviously, what he said about those chances against Fulham. He held his hands up, didn't he, really, and said, yeah, he could and should have put at least one of those chances away.
Yes, it's a pretty honest analysis there from Jose. There's no real getting away from it, though, is there, when you see them back? And yeah, he'll be massively disappointed he didn't, at least get on the score sheet once against Fulham. As I've already mentioned, for me, 3 really good, clear-cut chances that you're expecting at least 2 of them to go in. Forget about the Tielemans one, because it's either in the back of the net or it hits the bar when it comes to Yuri. So that was a chance that he created almost by himself. But the other 3, Vardy, you're expecting Jamie to go through and score that on another day. Harvey Barnes, well, the form he's been in, he had options. Unfortunately, the keeper read the opposite he took. And also, you say Jose had 2 shots, one where the keeper makes a good, really good save, fine. But the one where he's coming in on the back post, he's just leant back slightly, and that's why you see the ball balloon over the bar. But he knows deep down he should be converting those.
And as a former forward yourself, obviously you missed chances in your career. How do you put that behind you and going into the next game?
I think the biggest thing is the players will get into the position. Sometimes you play a game, you can go a while without getting chances. There's plenty of chances there. And then it's, like Jerry said, converting those chances. I think with a couple of them, could have done better in technique, leaning back a little or finding the corners. But if you're getting the chances, that you're disappointed obviously with the outcome, that you missed a one-on-one or it's gone over the bar, but you're getting them chances, and then it's been ready, having the mindset that next chance comes along, I'm going to bury that. So the positive from that game is Leicester created plenty of opportunities. It just the finishing wasn't quite good enough on the day, but hopefully today Leicester get lots of opportunities and forget about the other night and convert them, and we'll talk about the good and the finishing and everything's fabulous and can start going on a run and have a double cup run. So building on the League Cup and then into the FA Cup, and then as Jose said, can that be built upon for the league form? A distraction away from it, but it's a tough task in terms of it's their cup final. So yeah, they weren't able, of course, to put the ball in the back of the net on Tuesday, but they certainly do know how to put the ball in the back of the net in this competition. So let's take a look back at some classic FA Cup goals scored in Leicester colours.
Johnson is the famous winner in this yet. It's a lovely ball, onside, what a chance to freeze! He scored! It's Leicester 3, it's Tottenham 2, the flags stay down, and Leicester City are surely heading into the 4th round of the FA Cup. Madonna back to Paul Gallagher, and what a start that is! They couldn't have asked for a better one. Saul Bamba in his very first appearance for Sven-Göran Eriksson's Leicester City. This is Marshall again via Beckford, and Marshall! Oh, how about that? His first Leicester goal is one he and his manager will not forget in a hurry.
Brighton, Simpson's made a great run for him. Here's Schlapp. Oh, and it's squirmed in. Right at the death, Leicester City have nicked it. Michel Vorm with a howler.
Fuchs inside to Pratt on the halfway line. A run being made by Justin on the right-hand side. It's a great ball into James Justin inside the box. Ball across. Great chance! And it's put in by Kelechi Iheanacho. It's taken just around 3 minutes here for the owner. And when this man gets chances, it normally means goals. And Kelechi Iheanacho putting that one into the far post there to give Leicester City the perfect start here at Griffin Park. Some invention, maybe from Justin here on the left-hand side. Skips past a couple. Justin gets in the strike. Oh, it's a stunner! What a goal from James Justin.
I'm not sure he'll score a better goal than that in his whole career. I'm not sure Leicester will score a better goal than that this season. That is right out of the top drawer, right into the top corner.
Played his team into a bit of bother there, and then Perez has won that ball really well for Leicester. And here's Yuri Tielemans, 30 yards out, lines up a shot. Tielemans has scored! An absolute cracker in the FA Cup final. Yuri Tielemans sends the Leicester City fans bananas. That is one of the finest strikes you will see, and it has Leicester City on course for glory. Yuri Tielemans, what a goal!
Well, Gerard, I don't think Leicester fans will ever tire, will they, of seeing that Yuri Tielemans goal over and over again?
It just keeps getting better the more you watch it, doesn't it, Dan? Absolute top drawer quality. I mean, momentous occasion, obviously. You know, winning the first FA Cup final. Haven't been in a few, but to score it with a goal like that, I mean, it's got to be up there. It's got to be in the top. Well, it's definitely in the top 10 FA Cup final goals of all time, but it hasn't just sneaked into the top 10. It's firmly embedded in there, that's for sure.
And that was such a momentous day, obviously, for this football club. And you know, that could again be, 5 months away in May. And obviously that journey starts today against Gillingham. It's
got to start somewhere where we saw the goals. James Justin's the one against, I think it was Stoke in the third round. Leads to a final, win the final. It's got to start somewhere, but then you're looking back 18 months ago and it's an FA Cup win, which is just a fabulous moment for the club. And the strike, I just love where Silva's tried to block it. It's gone that side and you see the camera angle, it just rose into that top corner. It's just so pure, and Yuri's capable of that again. The other night he's hit the bar. It's like a trademark. He just flicks on the strike he's got and the technique. It's just wonderful. But starts again today, not that glamorous. Windy, rainy, tight pitch, and for Gillingham it is their cup final, so Leicester have got to be prepared for it, fight for everything needed, competitive. Bit starts today, so can get a win and then build on it, and who knows, in 5 months' time we could be sat here looking at a potential cup final. Who knows? Because that's the thing with cup runs, all you need is a little bit of luck, either in a game or a luck with the draw, and you never know what might happen. A bit of both, like you say, cup drawn, preferably you'd want home ties, not away ones, which can be a tricky one, and then obviously kind ones, and try and avoid the top teams in the Premier League, and who knows, you could be on a run, and then when it becomes the crunch games, Leicester more than capable of having shown in the past what they can do. Yeah, potential banana skin, of course, today down at Priestfield Stadium against Gillingham. Let's hear now from journalist Luke Cordell from Kent Online, who follows them week in, week out, of course, and he's been talking about the side that are bottom of the Football League.
If you weren't quite familiar with the goings on at Gillingham, you'd look at the table and think, oh, you know, they're headed non-league destined, basically. They've only scored 7 goals in the league this season, only won 2 games in 23. So they're proper struggled, but there's sort of new belief. There's a new owner. He's just putting in place a new structure at the club behind the scenes. There's one new signing in already. There's more new signings hopefully on the way before next weekend. So even though it looks like a bit of a sort of desperate times at the club, it's far from it. It's there's a new era about to start after Leicester come to visit. So good times hopefully are coming, and hopefully the new signings that the manager's going to make will get them out of the trouble, even if they only just sort of stay up by, you know, a few points or whatever, and then we can look forward to better times hopefully, and Gillingham getting back up towards the Championship. You never know. No pressure whatsoever. They're just going to enjoy the game, enjoy the occasion, sell out Priestfield Stadium. The new owner, Brad Gallinson, he's a property magnate from America. He's investing some money. He's going to be on the pitch before the game. He's going to be waving to the fans. So there should be a bit of a feel-good factor at Priestfield. What happens during the game, I don't know. I mean, it could start going awry pretty quickly if it starts to pan out like the league form has. But there'll definitely be an optimistic mood at Priestfield for the future.
Thank you to Luke Cordell there from Kent Online for that. And obviously, I think everyone really, pretty much, unless you're very, very clued in with your League Two, was looking this week and thinking, oh, Gillingham, bottom of League Two, bottom of the Football League, quite comfortably. Won 22, in 23. This will be a gimme almost for Leicester. But actually, the mood will be really good, we're hearing there. That the new owner's in, a different structure, director of football in now. This won't be easy. And he's saying there that he expects Gillingham to be off the bottom in the coming months.
Time will tell with that, won't it?
But that doesn't make good reading, does it, when you look at that?
It doesn't. They haven't scored enough goals all season. They're solid, organised. Obviously watched them against Wolves. Made it really difficult for Wolves on that evening. But goals, they've been short of goals. They do offer a long throw. Mandrin normally plays up front for them. Centre forward, quite physical, obviously not playing today. So offering a different threat, but I'd be interested to see if they'll use that long throw to their advantage. I think it was Alexandra who does that, so against the wind, rain in your face, elbows in, it could be a weapon for them. And they've got nothing to lose, have they? If they lose badly or anything, it's like, well, you're against Premier League team in Leicester, FA Cup winners 18 months ago, 2 seasons ago. So what have they really got to lose? They can go for it. It's a different challenge from away from the league. It's the bread and butter of the league, and they've got to start picking up results. To be fair, they haven't conceded too many, but haven't scored enough. And today they can just let that go, put everything out there, and test themselves against arguably some of the best players in the country. So it'll be a really good game for them. The fans will be behind it, and they can not really think about the league. It's the other stuff that obviously positive with the club in terms of the new ownership, director of football, but they do need results in the league, and obviously they like to cause an upset today.
Yeah, the weather as well, by the way, Jerry, looks absolutely awful down there at Priestfield. So you'll be glad you're at home and Matt Elliott's there, but the Leicester fans, they're in a completely open away end, so I feel sorry for them as well. But it's actually got all the ingredients, hasn't it, of a cup upset, doesn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I've played at the Priestfield Stadium on a few occasions in the past, and it's not a nice place to go, I have to say, as a player. When you're used to the 5-star surroundings that, King Power Stadium supplies the players these days. Then going to the Priestfield is, unfortunately, a bit of a come down, but they've got to deal with that. That's what the FA Cup is all about, is going to these places and having to dig deep. You've got to find a different side to your mentality when you go to these places. And that will be the toughest thing, obviously, with the form that Leicester in, i.e. the results. Not so much the performances, but the results. It's about picking yourself up, having the confidence and the mental strength to go again. Because, as you say, the stadium isn't great. The weather, as you say, looks atrocious. So nothing is playing into Leicester's hands today. The injury list is massive. They've got a couple of young kids playing today as well. So, yeah, I mean, you throw all that into the melting pot, Dan, then, yeah, it's got all the markings of a cup upset.
And how do you deal with that, Jerry?
Mentally. Simple as that. Mentally. You have to be prepared for a war. It's not going to be pretty football because of the conditions. The pitches in League Two aren't the same as the pitches in the Premier League. So I don't know how buggy the pitch is going to get or what sort of state the pitch is in. I can't tell you that. We'll see as the game progresses. But I would say it's not going to be a day for 100% pretty football. No. So then you've got to tell yourself, this is 90 minutes of war. Can I lift myself? Can I get my headspace in a place where I can go and compete, not play attractive football, and try and get my team over the line. And that's basically what it boils down to. Forget about formations, forget about all the tactics and everything else. You've got to play to the conditions, and two, you've got to be prepared to go to war, so to speak, of course.
Well, one man that is set off early to get to Priestfield Stadium this morning and can tell us about the conditions and about the pitch is Matt Elliott, who is on co-commentary. Good afternoon to you, Matt.
Afternoon, Batesy. Thank you for getting that in there, that I'd set off early. I was here prompt, so I've been a very good boy this morning, unlike previous attempts at getting to away grounds. But yeah, it was a nice journey, straight away down. Come to the stadium, and then all of a sudden the niceness disappears a little bit. Really, it's pretty grim down here in terms of weather-wise. It's dark, it's dull, it's cloud covered, it's blustery, it's windy, it's a little bit wet on and off, and it's not a very welcoming introduction really when you come down here for the players in terms of football. The biggest hazard for Leicester this afternoon, I think, will be those conditions. Don't mind it wet, don't mind it cold, but when it's blustery and windy, can cause all sorts of problems. But the atmosphere is cranking up here, as you can hear probably in the background. Music's blasting away, the ground's filling up, and it's a big occasion for the locals around here. You can sense it. Leicester have got some work on their hands.
Yeah, space in the starting 11 for Casey McAteer and Lewis Brunt. I know you've seen a little bit of them, haven't you, because you do our under-21s commentary. Have you seen much of them in the warm-up today? What are you expecting from those two?
Yeah, I'm looking right at them. They're passing the ball to each other over a 30-yard distance, directly in front of the press area here. I'd like to see them mixing in with their more established teammates, but it's often the way it is. You get little mini groups there, and they're having a little chat with each other. We're not entirely sure how Leicester are going to line up. I don't know, you might know more than me, Batesy, but when they're warming up, they were in a back four situation with Adam Sadler, providing the ammunition for them. But then a lot of people foreseeing that it might be a back 3/5 with McAteer and Brunt being wing backs, possibly, or Brunt on the outside of the three. But that's to be seen. Certainly they warmed up as a 4. But Leicester have done that previously and then changed to a 5 once the game goes off. But both very capable, confident young players, aren't they? I would say a very decent prospect of a good future in the game. You never quite know when you're at their age, exactly what level that's going to be at. People develop at different stages, but Brendan Rodgers shown a lot of faith. If they do line up as a back 4, as they did in the warm-up, I mean, both Brunt and McAteer were in that back 4 in the full-back positions, which some would say maybe a little bit of a gamble or a test to have two relatively inexperienced players in the same defensive line from the off. But like I say, they're very capable.
Thank you very much, Matt. We'll hear from you again. Of course, you're on co-commentary alongside James Fielden. You were wondering what the Leicester formation was. We're not 100% sure either. You said it's a back 4 in the warm-up. We've got it as a back 5 here, though. Quick recap of team news if you're only just joining us. Daniel Everson is in goal. We think a back 3 of Lewis Brunt, Yannick Vestergaard and Kaglar Soyuncu, with McAteer and Albrighton as the wing-backs. There's Mendy and Tielemans in midfield, with Perez in behind Iheanacho and Jamie Vardy. And from a Gillingham point of view, they've got Turner in goal. We think again another back 3. Usually they play a back 4, but it looks like a back 3 today. McKenzie, Aimer and Wright as their back 3. Tatonda and Alexander supplying the width. Jeffries and Williams in midfield, with Adelican, Cachette and MacDonald as their front 3. Let's hear now quickly from Brendan Rodgers, who's been speaking ahead of this game against Gillingham, and he was asked what his side's ambitions are in this competition this season.
Well, I think in the both competitions that we're in, we want to go as far as we can, and like I've always said here in my time, that we want to win every cup competition that we're in. So we arrive into the game on Saturday against a team that, okay, Gillingham, they maybe haven't done as well as what they have liked in the league, but certainly in the cup competitions, they've made it very difficult for Premier League teams. So you go away in this competition, you have to be strong, you have to be aggressive, and you have to be very professional in your job, and that's what we aim to do. So we get a cup game at the weekend, one on Tuesday night, and where we can, we want to go as far as we can.
Does the fact that you've won the cup in the past and you have a weird way of putting it, but a relationship with that cup, you have held it, you've probably drank from it, does it make it more kind of special to you? Does it put it any higher in the priorities?
Well, the feeling was amazing on the day, and like I said, when you do anything for the first time, it always is really special and feels great, and at that time it was. So yeah, it started the journey of winning here, and the feeling of winning for a lot of the players, and to win a cup competition. So we that's big in our mindset coming into each season. So this and the cup again, the quarterfinal on Tuesday night. These are important games for us, and we want to go and show that accordingly.
I mean, if you win the FA Cup, that puts you straight into the Europa League group stages. I suppose, and I wonder whether that puts heightened importance perhaps on the FA Cup because of what that competition finance-wise can bring in to the football club and having that European football.
Yeah, it wouldn't put any more or less. I think it's the cup competition you're in, and for every one that we go into, we want to win it. So the qualification for Europe and everything else, that's all a consequence of doing well in it. We're in it because we want to win it. Would love to do it again. We've had that magical season and day, and but we want to keep writing the new history here at the club and have more magical moments. So and the cup competitions, of course, give us the opportunity to do that. So we go there at the beginning of our journey, and hopefully we can as it get through and keep progressing.
Yep, that was Brendan Rodgers there speaking ahead of this game with Gillingham, of course, that famous cup-winning side of just 18 months ago. That started with an away game in the third round, so you never know, Jerry. We've got time for a very, very quick prediction. How do you think it's going to go today?
Oh, a very, very hard-earned 2-1 victory I'm going to go for.
How about you?
I think Leicester have got enough quality and experience within the team to get the job done and ease through to the next round. I think it could be nil, and if they get an early goal, it could be big. If not, it's going to be a 0-2, I think.
2-0 hopefully for the Foxes. Right, you can find out, you can listen to all of the action on LCFC Radio. Stay tuned after this short little break, because our commentary team of James Fielden and Matt Elliott will take you through the full 90 minutes where hopefully we see the start of another famous FA Cup campaign.
Because memories never fade, no matter how long. We'll still remember the moments of excitement and the impressions of Thailand. Amazing Thailand, now even more amazing.
Lamiat is the belief that perfection lies within the details, where the finest ingredients deserve the finest craftsmanship. In every pursuit of perfection, there is passion and perseverance, where attention to detail inspires a masterpiece that's balanced and in harmony. This is the Lamiat philosophy, brewed into every drop of Chang beer. This is the taste of Thai perfection. Chang beer. We brew friendship.
Hello, good afternoon everyone, and welcome along to a bouncing Priestfield Stadium. A very rare trip into Kent this afternoon, the first in fact for 18 years for the third round of the Emirates FA Cup, as Gillingham, bottom of the EFL, host Leicester City. Leicester looking to start another run nearly 2 years on from lifting the famous trophy at Wembley for the first time. It's sat down pitch side beneath us here, glistening as the BBC broadcast this game live. Brendan Rodgers' side have lost 3 in a row coming into this one after the defeat to Fulham, and this is very much a no-win game for the Foxes, with the TV cameras here hoping to witness a cup set. Gillingham were relegated in the summer and have enjoyed another tough campaign in League Two, as they sit bottom of the table without a win since the 1st of October. Today's their 35th game of the season, and despite the fact they've scored just 7 league goals this season, there's a positivity for the future in these parts, with a takeover confirmed recently, with the new man at the helm, Brad Gallinson, just introduced to the sellout crowd pre-match beneath us here. They've already had a good cup run in the Carabao Cup and knocked out Brentford before going out themselves to Wolves in round 4, and have already gone past non-league side AFC Fylde and Dagenham and Redbridge to reach their third round here, albeit via a replay in each tie. They were last in action on Monday as they lost their 4th successive game, this time at Stevenage. It is a sellout crowd here today. Last few tickets snapped up this morning. They only had 4,000 here for their last home game against Colchester on Boxing Day. Their FA Cup replay against Dagenham brought just 1,500 fans, but today there are over 10,000 here to witness this one. And a man who has scoring previous in this stadium is alongside me. Matt Elliott, good to see you.
That's nasty, James, that's nasty.
It was a good finish, no?
From about a foot out.
Sadly, for anyone who doesn't remember it, it was an own goal scored by Matt in a 3-2 defeat here on the 18th of January 2003. But the pitch isn't looking so sandy, it's not so yellow today. Look, it's not perfect, but it's certainly very playable, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's reasonable, especially for the level that Gillingham are at the moment. The pitch can't be used as an excuse today, can it? You don't want to look at it and think it's a negative factor before you start kicking off. It's fine.
We've all grown up playing on far worse pitches.
Exactly. The pitch is not the problem, it's the
wind.
The conditions above the grass, yeah, it's the wind. Rain, not an issue at the moment, generally. I think most footballers don't mind a little bit of rain and wetness there, for the ball to fizz around off the surface, but the wind, it just causes problems with your judgment, doesn't it, and the flight of the ball, etc. It just can unsettle your whole game if you don't apply yourself correctly.
Yeah, I mean, a change in shape for Gillingham today. I actually saw them play in the Carabao Cup in that game against Wolves just before Christmas. They normally play a back four. They played a 3 in that game. We expect they're going to play a 3 in this as well. The interesting difference is that in that game against Wolves, they played Mikel Mandron, big, tall, imposing central striker, but they've gone short and gone for a different route today. Do you think they're maybe trying to hedge their bets against what they can take advantage against Leicester with the way they're set up?
I haven't seen enough of Gillingham, to say which is the best way for them to go up against Leicester. But I mean, traditionally you sort of associate lower league football, with being a little bit basic and putting it into the box in the mixer, if you like, and then the windy conditions take their toll or not, as the case may be. But times change a little bit, don't they? I'm sure there'll be an element of that, directness from the home team, up and at them, put the pressure on Leicester. But try and play a bit of football as well, most teams, even in the lower leagues, don't they? But I think, putting the ball into the box, into a good area with a bit of quality, I mean, both sides will be hoping to do that, not just Gillingham. That would serve them well, you would imagine. I mean, you've got Vestergaard there at the back for Leicester, man mountain, doesn't always impose himself as much as he can do aerially, but testing out Everson there, who hasn't played many games, etc. So we'll have to wait and see how things unfold.
Yeah, Gillingham are bottom of League Two. They're the closest to the National League that you can get right now after a really awful season. Their only 2 league wins have come here at home. 7 goals scored in 23 league matches. This is their 35th game of the season already, which is quite some run for them. Neil Harris, the man in charge. And just to illustrate the setup we've got here, You can see right the way across Gillingham on the far side, over the stand on the opposite side of the field to us, all the terraced houses packed in. You're right in the middle of the neighbourhood here. It's full all around us. Smaller stand on the far side, which is split half-half between Gillingham fans and Leicester fans, who've got a couple of hundred covered seats, but the bulk of the Leicester travelling party behind the goal, and they've got 1,900 fans here in total. A rare trip here. Last visit in September 2004, goals from Matt Heath and Dion Dublin secured the victory that day. Hopefully something similar here in this one. We are just awaiting the arrival here of the two teams. It is very, very cold. It wasn't too bad around here yesterday, but temperatures have certainly dipped. But as Matt was saying, the wind has certainly not helped things here. But you don't want to be a Leicester fan standing in that stand, watching your side under any kind of pressure, do you?
No, it's not very welcoming, is it? They said about that in general, coming into the area in and around the ground, it's quite not hostile, but straight away you notice there's a little bit of an edge around here, and perhaps sort of the dawn of a new era, like you say, with the new family coming in, new owners coming in, who've just been parading themselves on the pitch and been welcomed by the supporters. Perhaps there's a little bit of hope and expectancy even in and around the area at the club starting from today, and what an opportunity to get themselves back on the map. But excuse me, from Leicester's point of view, the away supporters are showing their faith, that's for sure, aren't they? Because
especially when the trains aren't exactly helping matters today. I mean, exactly, they weren't going any further than Ebbsfleet out of London, so if you're coming down from the East
Midlands, you would know, James, as you would know, you have that issue as well. But no, the supporters backing their team, excuse me, sorry, backing their team to the hilt. They're their own full voice at the moment. Fair play to them for that.
Yeah, the Leicester fans making some noise away to our right-hand side. The new investor, the new owner here at Gillingham was American. There's a number of stars and stripes flag away to our left-hand side. Behind the goal in the Rainham end, the Leicester fans in the Brian Moore stand, and this is the team they're going to be watching this afternoon. Everson in goal, or Brighton, Sointu, Vestergaard, Brunton, McAteer, the back line, Mendy and Tielemans in midfield. Jose Perez just ahead of them, Vardy and Iheanacho, the front two for Leicester City this afternoon. I'm sure minutes that Iheanacho in particular will relish, with opportunities relatively limited for him this season. The wind is a-blowing. It is very, very blustery here. The teams gathered in the tunnel in the corner of the stadium as it is here. You can see the fluorescent tops of the referee, who today is Sam Barrett. And the teams will be out here very shortly. Leicester in their change kit today, because Gillingham, of course, are in the blue and white. We're just waiting for them to come out now. Leicester have gone through their FA Cup third round tie in 5 of the last 6 seasons now, only falling against what was 4th tier Newport County back in 2019. And of course, winners in the FA Cup not so long ago. This, though, the first step on another journey. Leicester City hoping to make sure they're in the headlines for the right reasons as they take on Gillingham, who are bottom of the EFL. A rare sellout crowd for the Foxes' first trip here in over 18 years, as the 2021 winners look to embark on another run. And Matt Elliott, sometimes you get a third round draw, maybe against a team from the same division or one below at home, where the crowd can be sparse, people not really up for it. But I think really, as a player, these are the kind of afternoons you have to relish something a bit different to the glitz and the glamour of the Premier League.
Yeah, certainly that, James. I mean, when the names first come out of the hat, you thought, okay, it's away from home, but Gillingham struggling in League 2, bottom of League 2 now as it stands. You think you'll settle for that, but reality sort of dawning a little bit. You know, you come down here, volatile, hostile atmosphere. The music system is doing all it can to pump things up. The new owners have been on display, and it looks like it's going to be, the scene is set for, you know, a real occasion, a proper FA Cup tie. The boardings there, the sponsorship on the pitch has just been blown over by the wind. That's how breezy it is out there, and Leicester are going to have to be up for the fight.
Yeah, team for Gillingham today. Turner the keeper, their normal goalkeeper Glenn Morris has gone back from his loan. He's gone back to Crawley. Back five, it definitely will be a back five by the way. Alexander McKenzie right, Ema Tutonda, Williams the skipper in midfield alongside Jeffries, Adelakun and McDonald either side of Kashket in attack. The Leicester players keeping on their anthem jackets until the last possible moment here, trying to keep the heat inside them. Gillingham are up and ready to go for this one, as are Leicester, who are now gathering around the centre circle. There is going to be a moment's reflection here before kick-off. Players' temperatures will drop even further as they stand here for this one. A mix of gloves and not for Leicester today. Some rolling their sleeves up for this one. Gillingham won't have too much possession. Leicester have got to make sure they keep the tempo high and make it count when they are on the ball. Sorting out the mascots now. The two captains in the centre circle, Albrighton and Williams. There's going to be this reflection here for Pele and Gianluca Vialli, who very sadly passed away yesterday. Former Chelsea, Sampdoria, Italy forward. A much heralded player in the football world. Also Pele as well, who passed away the week before last. A legend in the game, a man who'll never be forgotten.
And his passing engineer of a great footballing man and family man. Our thoughts go out to his daughters Jackie and Vanessa and all his close friends and family at this sad time. So there will be a minute of applause for David Gold, Pele and Gianluca Vialli, which will start and finish with the referee's whistle.
Here we go then. FA Cup third round day. Leicester City taking on Gillingham. And Leicester players just going for a jog and a sprint around the field to make sure they're at their warmest for kick-off here. I think we thought the worst of the winter weather had passed, but rearing its ugly head here again. Leicester once again, Everson in goal, Soyuncu, Vestergaard and Bruntley back three, we think. Albrighton right wing back, McAteer on the left, Mendy and Tielemans in the middle, Perez behind Vardy and Iheanacho. And if ever there was a come down from the World Cup finals, the likes of Tielemans and co, then this is very much it.
If you approach it the wrong way, you're going to find the stark reality of that come down, smack you in the face. But the likes of Tielemans, super professional. For him, it's just a game of football, isn't it? He enjoys playing. You can see that the way he goes about his game. So